Do you know what they're thinking when they reject or completely ignore you? Let me tell you, they expect you to fall apart. That's how it usually plays out, right? The same old pattern. Someone rejects you and you crumble. You break down, you chase after them, and you end up trying to prove your worth to someone who never valued you in the first place. They assume you'll beg, that you'll run after them like a lost traveler caught in a storm, desperate for shelter. Isn't that how it feels? And don't act like you don't know this deep down. You've sensed it, the silent smirk behind their rejection, the way they dismissed you so easily, like you were just a page in their story, ready to be ripped out and thrown away. We've been here before, haven't we? Talking about the aftermath, the wreckage. They think they've got you all figured out. They imagine you'll cry, sit alone in the dark, and let your world collapse. They picture you sleepless, staring at the ceiling, refusing to eat, barely even breathing. To them, your silence is weakness, not strength. Maybe you've already been there. Maybe you've done all of that, played the part they expected. But do you know what they're really waiting for? They expect you to explode with anger, reckless, blinding rage, the kind that makes you lash out, make mistakes, and prove them right about you all along. Here's the hard truth. They never expected you to heal. They didn't imagine you'd grow or rise above, or triumph. All they predicted was your pain and destruction. And every time you act the way they expect, you hand them control. You let them write your story, pull your strings, and turn you into a puppet of their rejection. Who told you that love meant breaking yourself just to fit into someone else's world? Who made you believe that sacrificing your dignity, peace, and dreams was the price of love? Was it a story you were told as a child, something you picked up from movies, songs, or even your own heart? Ask yourself this: if love is supposed to lift you up, why are you crawling? Why, in their presence, do your wings feel clipped, your voice fade, and your light dim? Who taught you to build a pedestal for them so high that you crushed yourself under its weight? Love isn't supposed to feel like chains tightening around your soul. It's not kneeling on broken glass, waiting for them to notice your pain. It's not locking yourself in a cage and handing them the key. And yet, here you are, convincing yourself this is normal. That love requires suffering, silence, and surrender. But here's the truth. You didn't fall in love. You fell into a trap. A trap where you let their needs, opinions, and validation define you. Where their rejection, silence, and coldness became your measure of worth. And now, you're sitting there, hands shaking, waiting for them to decide if you're enough. Enough for what? For someone who couldn't see your light when it shone the brightest? For someone who mistook your loyalty for desperation? Stop right there. Listen to this. If someone doesn't respect the love you offer, it's not your love that's lacking. It's their ability to receive it. It's time to wake up. Take back the pen and rewrite your story. Stop letting them scribble over the pages of your life. Who told you that their rejection defines you? Who gave them the power to dim your light? Take it back. Because when you do, you won't just be a plot twist. You'll be the ending they never saw coming. How will you end this story? Crying, begging, sitting alone in the dark? You'll rewrite it. They think they know you, think you'll fall apart. That's their ego talking. But do you know what's stronger than their ego? Your silence. And I'm not talking about weak, submissive silence. Not the kind that fades into nothing. I'm talking about a silence that's so powerful it blinds them. A silence that transforms you from the inside out. This silence doesn't whisper your strength. It shouts it with every move you make. It's the kind that commands respect, demands attention, and creates real change. This silence doesn't wait for them to miss you or regret losing you. It's about you realizing your own worth. So, Stop handing your power to someone who doesn't deserve it. This is your story, your crown, your kingdom, not theirs. Are you ready to claim it? If you are, affirm this with me. I am the ruler of my world. My silence is my crown, and my strength will rewrite my story. Now let me know you're with me by commenting, "My silence is my crown." If this hit home, hit the like button and subscribe, because this is just the beginning. The real transformation starts now. Let's go. Number 1. The broken throne you built for them. Let's be real for a second. You didn't just hand them power over your life. You crafted it for them, piece by piece, brick by brick. You built them a throne with your own hands. Every sacrifice you made, every time you put their needs above your own, every moment you stayed silent to let their voice be louder, it all contributed to that throne. And now they sit there, comfortable and clueless about the damage left behind in your life. But ask yourself, why? Why did you think they deserved that throne in the first place? You probably told yourself it was love, right? Society paints love as this grand act of self-sacrifice. Movies, songs, books. They all teach us that love means giving everything, even when it costs us everything. But here's the truth no one tells you. Love isn't slavery. Love isn't about putting someone so high above you that you lose sight of yourself. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." So, what kind of thoughts were you living with when you decided their happiness was more important than your own? This isn't really about them, though. It's about you. It's about why you believed they were worthy of your crown. And let's be clear, that throne you built, it's cracked, broken, and barely standing. Why? Because its foundation is insecurity. Every time you tolerated their disrespect or begged for their attention, you weakened its base. And still, you kept building, thinking that if you just worked harder, loved more, or gave more, they'd finally see your worth. But here's the truth. A throne built on brokenness can't support anyone, not them, and certainly not you. It was doomed to collapse from the start, taking you down with it. And here's the kicker. They never asked for the throne. You gave it to them. You handed over the keys to your kingdom, and then wondered why they didn't take care of it. You were so focused on making them see your value that you stopped seeing it yourself. Epictetus said, "It's impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." They never saw your worth because they weren't looking for it. And the real tragedy? You thought their recognition would define your value. You might be wondering now, why did I do it? Why did I sacrifice so much for someone who treated me like nothing? The answer is simple. You were scared. Scared of losing them. Scared of being alone. Scared that if you didn't give everything, you'd end up with nothing. But that fear, it's a lie. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You never had control over their actions, but you've always had control over how you treat yourself. It's time to dismantle that throne, piece by piece, brick by brick. Take back your time, your energy, your worth. They were never meant to hold the throne. It was always yours. You just forgot how to sit on it. So now what? Are you going to keep breaking yourself to hold up a throne for someone who doesn't deserve it? Or are you going to reclaim what was always yours? Take back your throne. Rebuild it, not for them, but for you. Write it in the comments. I reclaim my throne. Number 2. The silent revolution. Let's talk about silence for a minute. You've been taught that silence is weakness, that it's giving up, that it means you've surrendered. They want you to believe the only way to prove your worth is by fighting, begging, or screaming for attention. But let me tell you something. Real power doesn't need to shout. It doesn't beg or try to convince. Real power lies in silence, a silence so strong, so steady, it shakes the ground beneath them. Now, I'm not talking about the kind of silence where you stew in bitterness, hoping they'll miss you. That's silence. It's poison. It eats you alive while they move on, completely unaware. The silence I'm talking about is different. It's not empty. It's full of growth, full of transformation, full of a power so undeniable that it speaks louder than any words ever could. When they rejected you, they thought you'd crumble. They expected you to lash out, spiral, and prove them right. But here's where you flip the script. You don't play their game. You don't argue, explain, or even let them know they rattled you. Instead, you go silent. But this silence isn't passive. It's active. It's you taking back your energy and using it to rebuild yourself. It's about stepping away from battles that don't serve you and focusing on your higher purpose. Every second you spend chasing their validation is a second you could be using to build your kingdom. Why waste your power on someone who doesn't even realize they're standing in the presence of royalty? Epictetus said, "First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Silence gives you the space to decide who you are without their opinions clouding your mind. It's in this silence that you start to hear your own voice again. So stop reacting, stop explaining, and stop chasing. Use your silence to rise, not with anger or revenge, but with strength and clarity. Number 3. Who really holds the crown? You've been acting like they hold all the power in your life, like they're the ruler of your story. But here's the truth. The only reason they ever felt like royalty is because you handed them the crown. You gave it to them every time you let their opinions matter more than your own. You gave it to them when you let their rejection define your worth. But listen carefully. The crown was never theirs. It was always yours. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." So stop waiting for them to validate you. Just be. Be the ruler of your life. Stop chasing, stop explaining, and start reclaiming your crown. Write it in the comments. I hold the crown. This is your story. Time to take the lead. Let's go. Number 4. Burn the old map and chart a new path. You've been following the same map for far too long. A map drawn by someone else. It's a map filled with false hopes, dead ends, and paths that always lead back to pain. You thought if you kept going, you'd eventually find what you were searching for: love, validation, or acceptance. But here's the truth. This map was never meant to guide you anywhere worthwhile. It's time to burn it. The map they handed you wasn't created for your growth. It was designed for their convenience, their comfort, and their inability to recognize your value. Every path, every turn was a trap to keep you circling around their approval while they watched from a place of ease, unaffected by your struggles. So, let me ask you, how many times have you walked the same road only to find yourself right back where you started? How many chances have you given, hoping this time they'd see your worth? And how many times have you told yourself, if I just try harder, love more, or give everything, they'll finally notice me? But they never do they? Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Right now, the old map is your obstacle. It's keeping you chained to the idea that your happiness depends on their validation. But here's the truth. Happiness begins the moment you let go of their path and start creating your own. To move forward, you must let go. Let go of their map. Let go of the idea that their attention will lead to peace. Let go of the belief that their validation is your destination. Their map wasn't made for your freedom. It was made to keep you lost. So burn it. Let every lie, every false hope, and every toxic belief go up in flames. Watch the ashes fall and remind yourself, you're not lost, you're free. Now, you might be asking, if I burn the old map, where do I go next? The answer is simple. You chart your own path. This time, it's not for them, it's for you. Start small. Ask yourself, what do I want? Not what they want. Not what might make them regret losing you. What you want. What kind of life do you dream of? What kind of person do you want to become? Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This new path is about mastering yourself, taking back control of your time, your energy, and your dreams. It's about building a life so rich, so fulfilling, that you no longer need anyone else to feel complete. This journey won't be easy. It's uncharted territory, and there will be moments when you feel like turning back. But remember this, the old road leads nowhere. It's a graveyard of broken promises and wasted energy. Every step forward is a step away from pain and toward the life you deserve. So here's your moment. Light the match and burn the old map. Let the fire be your declaration of freedom. Write it in the comments. I create my own path. Because what comes next isn't about revenge or proving your worth to anyone. It's about building a life so strong, so undeniable, that it speaks for itself. Stay with me, because the next chapter will show you why chasing revenge or validation is never the answer. Let's move forward. Number 5. The lie of revenge and validation. Revenge and validation. Two seductive lies that promise satisfaction but only deliver chains. They whisper that you'll feel whole if you make them regret their actions, if you make them see your worth. You imagine the scene. They see you thriving, fall apart, and beg for another chance they'll never get. It's a fantasy, isn't it? But let's break it down. Does this really serve you? Or is it just another illusion, keeping you stuck in their shadow? Revenge tells you, hurt them like they hurt you. Validation says, make them see your value. Both seem empowering, but here's the truth, they're traps. They tether you to someone who no longer deserves your time or energy. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Think about that. Revenge might offer a fleeting sense of satisfaction, but at what cost? Every action fueled by revenge pulls you back into their chaos, their control, and validation. It's just another way of begging. When you seek their validation, you're still saying, see me, acknowledge me, give me worth. But why? Why should someone who couldn't value you before hold the key to your self-esteem now? Let me ask you something. Do you truly want them back? Or do you just want them to miss you? Are you seeking their regret? Or are you still trying to prove your worth to yourself? Here's the truth. Their opinion doesn't define you. Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. The real challenge is letting go of the need to prove anything. It's about being content with who you are without needing their recognition. Revenge and validation are lies because they make your power dependent on their reaction. But real power doesn't come from them. It comes from within. It's about moving forward and building a life so rich and fulfilling that their absence becomes irrelevant. So, what now? You let go. Let go of the fantasies, the what-ifs, and the endless loops of trying to make them feel something. Your silence, growth, and transformation. That's your real power. Write this in the comments. I let go of revenge. Because what's coming next isn't about them. It's about affirming yourself and stepping fully into your own power. Stay with me, because the next chapter is where we declare your kingdom and embrace your reign. Number 6. The final affirmation, declaring your kingdom. It's time. Time to stop dwelling on the past. Time to stop justifying yourself. Time to reclaim your power from those who never deserved it. This is the moment to become who you were always meant to be, the ruler of your own kingdom. But let's be clear, this isn't about anyone else. It's not about making them feel regret. It's not about proving them wrong or showing the world your value. This is about you. This is about deciding once and for all that your life belongs to no one but yourself. Think about it. How much of your life have you spent trying to please others, chasing their approval, fearing rejection? How often have you reshaped yourself, hoping they might finally accept you? And what did you gain? Pain, exhaustion, emptiness. Now you stand at a crossroads. You can continue down that same path of self-sacrifice and regret, or you can turn around and claim your kingdom. Marcus Aurelius said, "Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look." That strength, it has always been within you. It's been buried under their expectations, their judgments, and their dismissal of your worth. But now, it's time to bring it to the surface. Your kingdom isn't some distant fantasy or far-off goal. It's here, right now. It's in the choices you make each day. It's in the boundaries you establish. It's in the moments when you choose yourself, even when it's tough and even when it feels lonely. To declare your kingdom is to take back everything they tried to steal: your time, your energy, your confidence, your joy. It's standing in front of the mirror and affirming, "I am enough." Not because someone else said it, but because you've decided it's true. It means realizing that you don't need anyone's permission to live a life that feels complete, powerful, and free. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life." And freedom doesn't come from chasing people who can't see your worth. Freedom comes from letting go. It's realizing that your life is not a performance for others to judge. Your life is your masterpiece, and you hold the brush. So, ask yourself, what does your kingdom look like? Is it built on seeking their approval, or is it rooted in your inner strength? Is it a space where you diminish yourself to fit into their world, or is it a realm where you stand tall, unapologetic, and unshakable? This is your moment. Write in the comments right now. I declare my kingdom. Say it with conviction. This isn't just a phrase, it's a promise. A commitment that you will no longer allow anyone to define your worth. When you declare your kingdom, everything shifts. Your perspective, your priorities, your energy. You stop chasing what isn't for you and begin attracting what aligns with your power. Here's the truth. You are the ruler. You've always been the ruler. Now, all that's left is for you to claim your crown and step into your reign. This is where your journey truly begins. But we're not finished yet. In the next chapter, we'll talk about your legacy, the mark of a true ruler, the story you'll leave behind, the life you'll build, and how to ensure that this transformation is everlasting. Stay with me. Let's finish this together. Number 7, closing, the legacy of a true ruler. A true ruler isn't remembered for the crown they wore. They're remembered for the kingdom they built, the lives they touched, and the legacy they left behind. And now it's time to focus on yours. What will you leave behind? What story will people tell when they speak your name? This isn't about revenge. It's not about proving anyone wrong. A true ruler doesn't waste time on petty battles or seek fleeting validation. No, they rise above. Their power isn't tied to what others think. It's in the impact they leave on the world. Every challenge you've faced, every rejection, every moment of pain, it wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to shape you, to strengthen you, and to prepare you for the moment you'd realize your true self. Marcus Aurelius said, "What we do now echoes in eternity." That's the essence of a ruler's legacy. Every decision, every action leaves a mark. What kind of mark will you leave? Your legacy begins with the kingdom you're building. And make no mistake, your kingdom isn't some future dream. It's the life you create every day. It's the relationships you nurture, the passions you pursue, and the boundaries you uphold. It's in the way you treat yourself and how you teach others to treat you. Stop waiting for validation. Stop looking for permission to live the life you deserve. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly." And your legacy won't be built overnight, but every step you take, every moment you choose growth over comfort, is a building block for the life you're creating. A true ruler doesn't just lead, they inspire. They show others what's possible when you refuse to settle or let rejection define you. Maybe you're wondering, what if I fail? What if my dreams don't measure up? Let me tell you something, failure isn't the end, it's part of the process. Every ruler stumbles, every kingdom faces challenges, but what sets true rulers apart is their ability to rise no matter how many times they fall. Your legacy isn't about being perfect, it's about being persistent. It's about showing yourself and the world that no matter what, you keep moving forward. So, what will your legacy be? Will it be a story of someone who gave up, or a story of someone who rose above and built something extraordinary? Write this in the comments right now. I create my legacy. Say it with conviction. Let it be your declaration to yourself and the world, because your legacy doesn't start tomorrow or when you feel ready, it starts now. And here's something else. The world is watching. Not the people who hurt you. They don't matter. The people who need your strength, resilience, and example are watching. When you rise for yourself and for everyone who looks to you for inspiration. This is your time. Will you let the past define you, or will you write a new story? A story of power, resilience, and undeniable greatness. You've come this far. You've reclaimed your throne, burned the old map, and declared your kingdom. Now, it's time to make sure what you've built lasts forever. The legacy of a true ruler is unshakable, undeniable, and unforgettable. That's your legacy. That's who you are. Let's make it count. Let's make it eternal. Your legacy begins now. If this message resonated with you, if it sparked something within, take a moment to hit the like button below. Subscribe to the channel. There's so much more ahead to keep you growing, to keep you stepping into your power. And don't keep this to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs it, someone on the brink of their own transformation. You never know the impact you could make. Together, let's build this kingdom, one step, one choice, one legacy at a time. You're not just a viewer here. You're part of something greater. Let's make it happen.